Spinning. According to that, we are live. Who can tell? Who can tell? Let's have a wee look. Good evening, if anybody's actually watching this stream as yet. Let's just have a wee look and see if I've actually got anybody in. Right, I can see the Friday Waffle live, and I'm going to turn down the sound on my video. Right, it doesn't look like we've got anyone in at the moment, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, Chris, how you doing? How you doing on Friday?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm getting increasingly pissed off with the PC of mine, but well, I'll have to grin and bear it for a bit. But, yeah.
What's the problem? Is it a desktop PC you've got rather than a laptop?
Yeah, it's a desktop. It just keeps shutting down at random times. I have no idea why. I've tried fuck knows how many things to try and sort it out, and none of them's working. So yeah, I can't afford to replace any of the parts. So for the moment, I've got to put up with it until I can start getting replacement bits for it.
How feasible? By the way, evening, Steve. How you doing, buddy? How feasible would replacing it with? I was going to say a Raspberry Pi, but then you're big into your obviously you game. Oh, sorry, you game.
Yeah,
don't you?
Yeah. That's really not very likely, to be honest. I've got some ideas, so I'll find some way of sorting it out. I hope.
I must admit, I mean, I've got. I mean, this table that I've got in my games room. I mean, it should have been put in a skip about 20 years ago, but I can't be bothered replacing it. And I keep thinking to myself, it would look so much nicer if I just had a little table and a laptop. But I don't know. I'm old school. I still tend to think that bigger is better. The bigger the chunk. I still can't get my head around that a laptop is going to be more powerful than a huge behemoth of a PC. Maybe technology has improved a lot with laptops.
I don't know. I mean, I like a bigger display. I mean, with the laptops, they're only going to be so big. I mean, my monitor, all right, it's not enormous compared to a lot of people's. It's a 28-inch, and I'd probably want to go a size up from that. With a laptop, it's not feasible. And of course, the big thing with the laptop, if you want to upgrade your graphics card, tough shit, you're not going to. So, I want the upgrade path.
I suppose there is that. The problem with a laptop, when it falls on its arse, then it's into the skip and it's a new machine, isn't it?
That's it, yeah. You need a whole new machine. You can't just replace the bit that's gone wrong. So, although in my case, I've first of all got to find out which bit it is that's going wrong. I think I know, and it's not good news, but...
motherboard.
Yep.
Is it really? Balls.
Yep.
Have you tried... So I don't want to teach you, because I know you had your own computer business. Have you got to... Do you kind of take one bit out and then wait to see if it
comes? I've been doing that. Actually, the most recent bit I took out is... the sound card. That's it there.
Sound card?
Yeah.
Standalone sound card. The last time I had a standalone sound card, it was the O32. Remember that?
Yeah. No one uses sound cards anymore. Well, pretty much no one. So bear in mind, I got this set up 9 years ago. And then onboard sound was okay, and I'm using it now. It was okay, but it wasn't anything brilliant. That said, this thing, it's a Sound Blaster. I'm trying to remember. I think it's the Sound Blaster ZX. This is probably the most unimpressive, boring, featureless sound card I've ever had. It's shite, really.
How old is that, Chris?
Yeah, that's 9 years. When I got it, it was pretty much brand new. It had only been out like about 3 months or so.
I see. So why did you feel the need to buy a sound card? Because I think most people. Am I right in thinking that most people just use the built sound?
Yeah, I say if I was building a new one now, I wouldn't even consider sound cards. I'd just use onboard. The onboard sound now is fine. It's more than fine. It is pretty fucking good. Back then, I say back then, it's like it's a long time ago. It was 9 years ago. Back then, it was okay, but I wanted better, and I thought with that I'd get better, and I really didn't. You know, so it was pretty uninspiring right from the start. So I'm not sorry I took it out. I'm sorry for all the bloody grief I had sorting the audio out when I did take the thing out. But yeah, I've got that sorted out now.
When I was watching, I've got a plethora of like sort of gaming related films and what have you that I've kind of found on the internet, and there was one of them, I think it was called like Beep or Blip or some damn thing, and it's basically about the history of the sound card or sound in games. And obviously the original PC just had a buzzer or whatever it was, and then the first sound card that came along, what was it called? I think there was Sound Blaster, and then was it Ad Lib, I think it was.
But I vaguely remember the ad lib, yeah.
Apparently, it was kind of similar to like the Mega Drive. It was only capable of doing a certain type of noise, which I never really thought about. But and then I think the Sound Blaster. Yeah, the Sound Blaster was the first kind of mainstream one, and I think they eventually took over the market. I think.
Yeah. Sound Blaster was always the go-to card for everyone. I didn't always use it, but. Yeah, the last few that I had were all Sound Blaster variants of some kind. I had the Audigy 2, I had the X-Fi, which I thought was probably the best sound card I've ever had, the X-Fi Titanium. And then I went from that to, I think it was an Asus, isn't it? You meant to pronounce it. I've always called them Asus, and I'm always going to, you know. So yeah, I had one of theirs, the Zonar. That was okay, and then I went to something else that I can't remember. Then I went to this thing, but that's me finished with sound cards now. I'm not going to bother with the things.
I should just say good evening to everybody. Back, I don't know if you can see them, Chris. Can you see the live stream chat at all? No.
I can if I switch tabs. Yeah.
All right, now because it's actually got a built-in one. I've got to say a big shout out to Panther UK. Chris, he was the guy that recommended we try this thing. It's called StreamYard.com.
Right.
It's absolutely piss easy to use, as we know.
Yeah, actually, I've just switched the tab here. I can now see the live comments without having to constantly change them. So yeah, that's all right.
That's quite good. So yeah, good evening. Who have we got in tonight? We've got 12 people in apparently. We've got Yoldy Gamer Steve. We've got Mr. Jones. We've got Ben, and we've got Lewis, and we've got the oldest viewer on my channel, Mr. Ian Hunter. Good evening. Is it not time for your bed, Ian? It must be hot cocoa time, I think.
That sounds like a good idea, actually.
I should say, whilst I'm in the mood for slagging people, I did put tonight joining me for a live waffle is the second grumpiest man on the internet.
Oh, what do you mean second grumpiest? Who's the first then?
Well, obviously, I would say that I'm the grumpiest, but technically, I know you're the grumpiest.
I'm going to give you a run for your money there. Second grumpiest.
You're definitely a 12. You're a 12 in the grumpiest. So how's your week been anyway, Chris? How's the weather down there, by the way?
Oh, it's been shite for about 3 weeks now, and we still got the remnants of that storm, whatever it's called, Storm Harry or whatever.
Ariel.
So yeah, that's still hanging around. So yeah, it's awful.
Who actually comes up with these names for storms?
I know someone who used to do it, Rich Hall. If you remember, the American comedian, that used to be his job, coming up with the names for hurricanes and that.
Well, yeah,
but whoever it is who does it now down here, I don't know. They seem to be lacking imagination, though.
The best, and it'll never be beaten, the best hurricane ever name was in Scotland about 3 years ago, and it was Hurricane Ballbag. Now, Ballbag is ball bag.
Yeah, let's face it. Everyone who hears that name, that's the first thing that comes into their head. There's not going to be any exception to that.
It will never be beaten. Yeah. Good evening, Tony. How you doing, man? But yeah, I mean, is it just my imagination, or does it feel like it's been dark? It's been raining. It's been windy. I mean, I don't think it's stopped raining for 2 weeks, and that's without a word of lie.
Yeah, I mean, I realise, rain in Scotland is an unusual concept, but yeah. But yeah, down here it's just been exactly the same. It's been pissing down almost non-stop. I did a video about what was it? It feels like ages ago. It must be about getting on 2 months ago. And at the end of it was an Elite Dangerous video, so chances are you won't have seen it. But at the end of it, I tacked on this bit where I was showing me telescope, because I'm a bit of a amateur astronomer.
Right,
yeah. And I was showing this, and I was saying, right, what I'm going to do is I'll do a few videos showing what I'm seeing through this sort of thing, So yeah, that what I say was getting on 2 months ago. Since then, there has not been a single night where it's either been clear enough for me to actually go out and use the bloody thing. So what a waste of time that was. If anyone is actually wondering what's happened to those videos are coming. I just actually need a night where I can actually go and do it. Yeah.
Yeah, you've not been making many videos yourself, really, have you? Off late?
No, not off late. I mean, firstly, with the computer problems, that's what's been really doing it for the last couple of weeks or so. And I just not really been sort of like feeling it,
Been feeling it, yeah. I know the feeling well. As I said, I've had a few bits and pieces going on, which is kind of just. It doesn't make me not want to do it, but to be perfectly honest with you, by the time I'm getting home from work, I'm absolutely bloody shattered. And I find what I tend to do is I'll sit down. I've had my settee or couch has got a recliner, and I've never actually had it plugged in until a couple of weeks ago. My girlfriend said to me, "What's this plug for?" I said, "Oh, it reclines." She goes, "Oh, why didn't you use it?" I mean, I suppose I should. So I've been using this recliner, and what I tend to do is I'll
fall asleep in the chair.
Aye, I've been falling asleep. I have my dinner, and I'll inevitably put on a YouTube video, and before I know it, I'll think I'll just pause it for 5 minutes and close my eyes, and then I'll wake up 1 hour later.
Yeah, you realise that is one of the surest signs that you're becoming an old man. You're falling asleep in the chair when you are just sitting there. There you go. You can't deny it any longer. You're an old man now.
I knew that a long time ago. Right. Ian is asking, Southend used to have the longest pier in England. Is it still there?
It's not just the longest pier in England, it was the longest pier in the world. And yes, it is still there, although it keeps catching fire and it keeps having boats ramming into it and damaging it and everything. One time, the person whose boat it was that crashed into it was my old man's. But yeah, it's still there. Yeah, there's not a lot on it anymore, though. Mind you, there never really has been a lot on it. For the longest time, it's about 1.25 miles to the end, and when you get there, there's just a pub.
Hell, that's a pier and a half, that isn't it?
Oh yeah, well it needs to be because the coast around the south end here, there's all these like mud flats and that, so it is very, very shallow for a long old way out. So it has to go that far out for any of the boats at the end to actually use the thing.
So what's actually the point of a pier then? Can you not?
What's the point of it? Yes, that's a good question.
Having something to crash into.
I mean, it was, I think, a Victorian thing. All the like seaside towns and everything all had a pier, and it had all like arcades and everything on it. I mean, I don't think it actually serves any practical purpose. It used to be that boats would moor at the end of it, and it would be passenger boats, and they'd all get off on the pier and that, and then make their way to the actual town through there. But I mean, let's say that's going back to like Victorian times. So Nowadays,
I think that the only use of, the only thing they're used for nowadays is it's when washed up BB celebrities get to the end of their career, like Cannon and Ball and bloody Little and Matt.
yeah, or who's that? Yeah, Jamie Oliver, who filmed his last series at the end of Southend Pier. As far as I'm concerned, he can stay there.
That was that stupid thing where he had guests coming in and all this kind of bollocks.
As soon as I see the name Jamie Oliver, I think, right, I'll see what else he's on. You know, I'm no
like,
interest in watching him.
Cunt, that's what it is. That's what
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, sorry, good evening, Vinny. We've got 16 people in, so that's all very jolly. So, what have you been up to gaming wise? What's kind of on your radar? Have you been making many videos at all? Or you said you haven't.
No, because I mean, the problem with me doing videos at the moment, I mean, that's what's left of the list of the reviews that I started doing a few months ago. And you look at the games that are on here, and you probably get a pretty good idea why I'm a bit sort of hesitant to play them, especially when there is the chance of the computer then shutting down while I'm recording the thing, and I lose it all. So I have such gems as for the Commodore 64, Knucklebusters, Legend of Cage, Purple Heart, Rebounder.
Purple Heart? I don't know that one. Purple Heart? What's that about?
Purple Heart. It's a blatant rip-off of Rambo. Only it's even worse, if you can believe that. What else we got on here? Fantastic Voyage for the Amiga. Fucking hell. Why do I put myself through all this?
Don't remember that one. I remember that. Was it not a Fantastic Voyage, or was it Fantastic Journey in the Spectrum? I think it was, where you basically got to go inside, you go down the throat, and you've got to...
Yeah, it's based on the film, and that's what this is. So, and it's laughable how shite it is. There are some decent games on here which I won't read out because I don't want too many spoilers as to what's coming. Yeah. But there's one in particular which I was saving for the 600th review because I've done something like about 583, something like that I've done. Wow. So I haven't got 2 minutes to go before I reach 600. And I've got a particular game that I've got set up there. If I was to mention that I have to use FSUAE to play it, that might give you a bit of a clue as to what it is. Yeah. Because I remember we were talking about it one time, and I was saying I couldn't get it to work or anything because it needed some specific feature, and you sent me the FSUAE and bosh, and now I can play it. So.
Yeah, we all obviously be sitting down, and we've had a few videos on ice for the last couple of months. I think we took a break over Christmas time, and we were going to get back to it, but just with real life, pesky real life kicking in sometimes. Yeah,
it always gets in the way, doesn't it?
It's kind of scuppered things a wee bit, but we will be getting back to things as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, I will be doing retro vids again. It's just getting myself in the right frame of mind, really. So the whole problem with the computer is just I'm currently at the point where I fucking hate using my PC. So while I'm feeling like that, it's not really a good time for me to be doing any vids at the moment.
If it just switches off. So is it crashing? Is it related? Have you found out? Is it related to any bit of software or anything, or is it just completely?
No, when I look in the event viewer, there's nothing there. All it says is that the PC started up without being shut down properly. I know that, but when I look further down for like the reason why it shut down in the first place, nothing there. It doesn't even mention that it shut down. So yeah, it doesn't help as far as trying to determine the cause. Anyway,
does it kind of start doing stuff, or does it literally just go boom? Does it just switch off?
Just bang.
Yeah.
Display goes, the audio goes, the Ponzi lights on the keyboard switch off, but the fans inside the actual tower itself, they still keep going, but they're the only things that keep going.
So if you suddenly disappear, I won't get too offended. It's not because you've become
exactly. Yeah, it's not because I've read a comment and thought, right, fuck this, I'm off.
So good evening, everybody. We've got Neil Ox. We've got Graham. How you doing, buddy? Ian Hunter's saying I gave my Vic 20 a Shatner rub today. If you're interested in, sorry, what's Graham's saying here? Heat problem? Is it possible?
No, it's not heat. I think
it's something to do with heat. But
that was the first thing I checked. It's not heat. Heats and voltages and all that. They're all fine.
Yeah, Tony, my mate Tony, who's in, he's just posted at the bottom. Tony's an IT guru. He's saying check the reliability monitor, whatever that is.
Your guess is as good as mine as far as what that is.
You need to expand, Tony. What is and Steve said, have you monitored the temperature and voltages? Is that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've done all that. They're all okay. It's not heat related. It's not voltage related. So
thing is, I think you can pick up. You know, pick up a motherboard probably second hand for not a lot of money now.
I can do. The only thing is, I'm going to be thinking, right, with this one being the same age as the one I've got. How long was this one going to last? So, but I mean, it's obviously by far the cheaper option. So, it's probably the one I'll end up going with. I don't really want to be buying a whole new bloody system just because of this. Even if I did, I'd transfer, plenty of stuff from this into a new one. I'd just replace the bits that I absolutely have to replace, But replacing the motherboard, if I'm going to do it with a new one, it's not that simple because this is still using DDR3 RAM and all the new motherboards are using DDR4, so I'd have to change that. The socket I'm using is 2011. Well, no motherboards, no new motherboards use that one, so that means that the processor would have to be changed, and suddenly everything's all mounting up, and that's what's pissing me off about it. Tell Lukozer to get off his arse and review my Rygar port on the Amiga. That'll make his PC explode. I was mentioning this to someone the other day, actually. I get the feeling that when you're choosing what games you're doing, so Graham Cowie here, he's the guy who actually wrote the Rygar port, and he did the Bomb Jack beer edition that I reviewed about a year after I was first told or first asked, can you review it? A year later, I finally got round to doing it. I promise you, it's not going to be a year before I get round to doing this one. So
is that an official?
No, it's not an official port or anything. It's just something he did because, well, presumably he's a big fan of the game, which I am not. I reviewed the Commodore 64 version. I'm sure you're familiar with the 64 conversion of Rygar. Yeah. And in it, I showed some footage of the coin-op original. Now, anyone who watches my channel knows if I include footage of the coin-op original, it's because the conversion you're about to see is so atrocious that I have to include the original just to really, rub in just how bad a conversion it is. And I mentioned at the, I know you fucking hate this game. Yeah.
You actually said flipping, but anyway.
It's some sort of like auto sort of translation in my head. If I see flipping, it just comes out, fucking thing, Now, I completely lost the thread of what I was saying. I know I was talking about Rygar. Rygar. So after I showed the coin-op footage, I was saying about, this game just looks so generic. There's nothing in it that makes it stand out as a particularly good game or something. So, and I remember thinking at the time when I was doing the review, I can't believe anyone actually liked Rygar enough to actually want a conversion. But it would appear that I was wrong. There's at least one who is a big fan of it. So there we go.
Sorry, Neil's just saying this is a serious waffle. Al's on the strongbow.
Well, again,
This video is actually brought to you by Strongbow. Yeah,
you've become a bit of a Strongbow aficionado.
you know what?
You were drinking that in the last one.
I had a housewarming party. Well, when I say exactly, it was last February. I had a housewarming party, and various people brought some alcohol, and that is what's in my cupboard. And I mean, it's about 6 months out of date, but it tastes absolutely fine. It tastes better than the one I had last week.
Well, when I used to drink, which is going back a few years, Strongbow was one of the, I say beers, it was one of my drinks of choice anyway, so yeah, I didn't mind it. I wouldn't touch it now, though.
I'm usually a beer drinker, but I don't know if I want something refreshing. I quite like a cider. And the funny thing,
if I want something, here we go. Freeway Coke from Aldi's, like in £3 for 6 bottles of it. I think, yeah, okay, that's my kind of price range.
Evening, Adam. How you doing, buddy? What was going to say? Spectrum next. Have you been paying much attention to it? Are you interested in it much, Chris?
Honestly, Spectrum, no. The Spectrum, okay, it was one of the first home computers that I used, even though I didn't have one. A few mates of mine had them before I got my 64, but I was never really big on it. I'll reluctantly admit, there are some games for the Spectrum which are far better than their Commodore 64 counterparts.
Oh, I know.
But likewise, say the other way around, there are 64 games that are far better than their Spectrum versions. I mean, Whizball instantly springs to mind there. So yeah, I never really sort of.
Did none of your pals have Spectrums back in the
day? Yeah, that's what I was saying. Most people I knew had Spectrums. I was one of only about 3 people I knew who had a Commodore 64. So yeah, we were very much in the minority, even though we had the better computer. That would cheer up a lot of people in the chat there.
It's funny how, I mean, like, as I said, I remember I had my C64, and try to think, I bought my C64, and I'd never actually seen a Spectrum in the flesh until maybe a few months later. And I always remember, I don't know what game it was, I couldn't believe how shit the games looked compared to my Commodore 64, because C64, everything was nice and crisp, and it had clear graphics. And then I saw this Spectrum, and it was like colour clash, and I thought, bloody hell, that is awful. And I never ever changed my opinion of the Spectrum for years and years and years. And my mate would come to my house, and we would fire up two-player Exploding Fist or Summer Games, whatever. But we would never ever go to. I would go to his bit, and he would say, "Oh, do you want a 2-player game?" And you're all right, because I couldn't use. And just because there weren't 2 joystick ports, I would just kind of sit and watch him playing it. I had no interest in playing the Spectrum. And I always thought it was an inferior computer up until I got a Spectrum. I don't know. Well, I started off with an emulator, and then eventually got a Spectrum. And to compare, it'd be like saying I love chocolate, or cheese isn't as nice as chocolate, or I love cheese. They're utterly different. They're completely different. They both play games, but they've both got their own strengths and weaknesses. And I would never ever say, I would never say one is better. Well, the C64 is obviously better, but no, I mean, I love the Spectrum. I love the Spectrum equally. I've really grown to like it. It's just
I mean, I would not say that I think the Spectrum is shit. There's no way anyone could ever say that. But I do think that the 64 is the better computer, simply because of the bulk of its hardware. Anyway, I mean, you look at the 64, and it's not too unlike modern PCs, because it had all the dedicated hardware. So you had, like, the Vic or the Vic 2 chip, I think it was it had. So you had like your hardware sprites which it dealt with. You had the SID chip for the audio and that. So it wasn't using the processor so much, which was just as well really, because the processor in the 64 was pretty shite. So to be, perfectly frank.
Apparently, am I even thinking it wasn't even 1 megahertz?
No, it was, well, in the UK and Europe, it was 950 kilohertz.
And yet the spectrum was 3.5.
Yeah, that's not to say that it was 3 times as fast, because of course the Spectrum had the Z80 and the 64 had the 6502. I mean, the BBC micro, that had a 6502, but that was 2 megahertz. And the difference in processor power between the BBC and the 64 was astronomical. The BBC just absolutely pissed all over it, and it's only, well, I say only twice.
Apart from Commando, obviously.
Well, yes, yeah. But see, that's a good example of where, see, the Commodore 64 with all its other dedicated hardware and that, so the audio was far superior, visually it was far superior and that. So even though computers like the Spectrum and the BBC had far better processors, in terms of actual gaming, the 64 version was absolutely, just wiped the floor with them. Although that said, I didn't actually mind the Spectrum version of Commando.
I know that's a good version. I think you're right. I mean, I think it would, and you take the I think the strength of the Spectrum was the fact that it was so cheap. I mean, Clive got it out there to the masses, and the creativity in some of the games, because the hardware was quite limited. Certainly the sort of the sound, the sound was also limited. Yeah. And obviously the colours as well was limited with Colour Clash. It really forced people to write some amazing games, and some of the games in the Spectrum are just bloody awesome.
I totally agree. I think the coders from the 8-bit era, what they were actually able to get, whether it was the Spectrum or the 64, what they were able to get those computers to do, I think is far superior to anything you see today. Because today, if they're trying to code something that might be in any way sort of like taxing or difficult to do, all they say is, right, we'll bump up the specs. Now you need such and such a processor, such and such a graphics card. Because in the 8-bit era, you couldn't do that. So you had to find a way of coding the game to be able to do it on the hardware you had. And that took far more skill than any of this lot today.
Yeah, I mean, I was playing on the Monex, I was playing Chase HQ, and honestly, I mean, I know people talk about how good a game it is, but by fuck, it's an impressive port. Whatever way you look at it, it's like, blimey. I mean, I don't think it's a multi-load either. I think it's a single load.
I missed, what game is that?
Chase HQ and the Spectrum.
Oh, fucking hell. I can't remember actually if that was a single load. I never actually played the Spectrum version, although having played the 64 version, I dare say I've seen what the Spectrum one looks like, because most of the Spectrum routine was used in the 64 one. And the 64 version of Chase HQ, it just looks like everything about it was a total afterthought. It's like they were just thinking, we're not even going to bother doing a 64 version. And then they threw this shites together at the last second.
I think if I remember rightly, did they not? They basically took the road routine from the Spectrum.
Yeah, it's a Spectrum road routine, yeah.
They formed an expanded sprite car, and then they slowed it up by like 75%.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, there you go. You've got the Chase HQ coding experience down to a T there.
And then less said about, was it Karnov, the better. Bloody hell, that was a
fucking hell. There is actually a worse version of Karnov. Have you ever seen the Amstrad version of it?
I don't think I've had that pleasure.
All right. Again, it looks identical to the Spectrum and 64 therefore versions, but all the colours are totally different, and it makes me think, have they actually coded it intentionally to look like this? And I can only think, yes, they did. So it's not even a straight port. They coded the Amstrad version on its own, and still decided to make it look identical to the Spectrum, except it has a colour scheme that makes your eyes bleed. I mean, it does look horrendous. I mean, the Amstrad one, I think, is probably the worst of the three, if you can believe that.
Really, bloody hell! I would find it
If
hard to
Graham
believe.
Cowie is still there, it looks like he is. Don't make con of your next game, okay? Come on, draw the line at that.
Good evening, Neil from Indie Retro News. Oh, how you doing, buddy? A great website, by the way. Do you frequent that site much, Chris?
Which one?
Indie Retro News.
Uh,
Basically all the sort of modern games for old systems up here.
I can't say I have. No.
Definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth checking out.
Yeah.
Well, 26 people. Thanks for joining us evening. As I said, this is a live waffle. It's completely unscripted. So if there's any questions or anything you want to ask us, closed channel. When talking about C64 Chase HQ, you really have to also talk about the excellent Turbo Outrun for the 64 versus other bits. You know what? It's every now and again, if I'm reading a magazine or I'm watching a video, I see Turbo Outrun. People always say how good it is, and I've never actually loaded it. I've never tried the game.
On exactly the same. I think it's the one that has. Is it your own tell? Did the music for it? I think that was Turbo Outrun. It was either that or Outrun Europa. But yeah, I've never actually played it. The reason being, I played the coin-op version, I think, twice, and I thought it was absolute shite. So I had no interest in the conversion of it at all.
All right, okay. Adam's saying here the music in Turbo Outrun at the start is mind blowing. Is that the C64 one, Adam, or is that the? I don't. Was Turbo Outrun in the Amiga? Was it? Well, it probably would have been.
It probably would have been if the original was on there. I'm sure the Turbo Outrun was.
I know. I would love to see. I would love to see a remake out on the Amiga. I mean, when you look at how good not Turbo Outrun. What do you call it? Turbo Challenge is. You know, they've got the road routine and that. They could really make an excellent version.
I don't know. Outrun or Turbo Outrun or whichever. I don't think it's a game that has really aged all that well. Could probably, well, for me it hasn't. And the music in the original Outrun is still fantastic, but that's about the only bit about it I like. I mean, I wasn't that big a fan of it even back then, so you know.
Yeah, I'm going to say, Chris, I was doing an arcade club. When was I doing there? A couple of weeks ago, and I was playing the sit down version Outrun, and it's got the. Did it move?
Yeah, it moves left and right. Yeah,
I think it did. And I've got to say, it's still an impressive game. I mean, when you consider its sprite scale and whatever it was, I think that what was the name of that technology that they used for the Sega game?
Oh, the Y board. Yeah, it was quite an early-ish Y board game as well. Outrun. That actually reminds me of something I was thinking about just the other day. I think this all came about when I did my review of fucking hell, what is it called? The coin-op game that's a bit like Beam Rider.
Juno First.
That's it, yeah, Juno First. And I think it was in one of your Friday Waffles after I'd done that. You were saying that I tend to be a bit harder on coin-op conversions than you are. And I think I know why, because you said a few occasions you didn't get the chance to play many arcade games back in the day because there weren't any around there. Whereas with me, because living in a seaside town, I was down there every weekend. So I got to be a lot more familiar with all of these coin-op games and that. And so when it came to the conversions, I wanted them to be a damn sight better than any of them were. And the thing with Outrun, you're saying about the sprite scaling, I was not that impressed with it. It was okay when it came to things like, like the other cars on the road. But like the roadside graphics and that, I just thought they looked awful. Because of course the whiteboard couldn't actually do 3D, so all it could do with all these like 2D bitmaps, and then they'd just be layered. Obviously, if they wanted to try and create the illusion of a solid wall, they'd put all of the layers really close together. So like that section where you're going through what looks like a tunnel.
Concrete pillars.
Yeah, but of course, if you crash, you can just see all these flat bits one in front of the other. And you sort of think, yeah, that doesn't look so good after all that.
I think it's more noticeable in, what the hell is it called? Power Drift, eh?
Oh, it's a lot more noticeable in that, especially because in that one,
that kind of stuff, yeah.
Some of the actual circuit you're racing on is made up of that. So you see all these gaps in the road, and you're thinking, well, can I actually drive over that, or am I going to fall through the gaps there or something? I hated it. That was one of the things that I really, really detested about Power Drift. I mean, it wasn't a good game, at the best of times, but yeah, visually.
Yeah. What's your favourite arcade or your favourite Sega, whatever it's called, of that generation? Your Outruns and your
of that one, well, of the whiteboard games. It's between two, and they're very different. There's me saying about I don't like the way that it does solid walls, but I thought Galaxy Force was great, even though that really does show, the solid wall thing just doesn't work very well. And Golden Axe, which of course doesn't instantly strike people as being a whiteboard game, but yeah, it certainly was. Very different to all the other, ones where they were all basically 3D. So yeah, it's between those two, and basically toss a coin between them, and take your pick. I couldn't choose between those two.
I think not Space Harrier. I think Outrun's probably always going to be my favourite, but Space Harrier's a nice game to play, especially when you're playing it in the proper hydraulic. You really need to play it. I mean, playing it.
Yeah,
the computer is completely lifeless. You really need the hydraulic aspect to bring the game to life.
That's it. I mean, Space Harrier came out at a time when they still had the mix of gameplay and the experience of being on a hydraulic system. They had that balance perfectly. Later on, it all became about experiencing the hydraulic movements. Afterburner was the one that really kick-started that. It was all about using the deluxe cabinet. The game itself was absolutely shite.
It was more about the experience, I think.
Yeah.
Aye. No, I tend to agree.
Right, what we got any old comments here?
Yeah, we need to kind of be looking.
Yeah, I missed just about all of them.
Let's scroll up. Let's have a wee look. I've been kind of keeping an eye on them. Let's see. Power Drift was rubbish on the Amiga, but Driving Force proves it should have been much better. Driving Force, is that one you're familiar with?
No, I don't know that one. I totally agree though that Power Drift on the Amiga was utter shite.
Yeah. When I'm reading comments and videos and somebody mentions a game, I'll go, oh, thanks, I'll need to check that out, and then I completely forget where I saw the comment about. Space Harrier, that's a cracking one. Stunt Car Racer C64, I've never played Stunt Car Racer on the C64. People tell me
you've got to. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Really, yeah.
I mean, the Amiga version is super impressive game. But the speed that it runs on a 64, bearing in mind the 64 is pretty hopeless with vector graphics. It runs unbelievably fast, and it is, it's smooth movement as well. There's no sort of jerky movements or anything. So yeah, you definitely want to check out the 64 version of that.
Was it Jeff Crammond that programmed?
Oh yeah. It was. I think it was the last 64 game he did. I think.
Because he did the Sentinel as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did you ever like that game? Did you ever play it?
No, it was a bit pretentious for my taste, really. I mean, the idea was good. I just didn't like the way it was implemented.
It was a bit kind of fiddly. If I remember rightly, I think you had to use the joystick and the keys as well, I think. When I played it, I just used all keyboard controls. I didn't bother with, using the joystick and then putting it down to use the keys and everything. So I just stuck with using keys all the time. My my pet hate with driving games and joysticks is the fact ones you've got to hold up to accelerate.
I didn't mind that so much. I got on with that okay. But so many of them needed that, forward to accelerate, that it's still, even now, it's the natural thing I always do. And then I think, oh, hang on, no, it's on the Xbox controller, yeah, okay, it's the trigger. So.
The problem for me is if you had to hold it up and if the joystick wasn't kind of working properly, when you're holding it diagonally, sometimes it wouldn't turn properly, or if it did turn, you'd start to swap. And I never understood, why would you make the fire button change gear or brake? Why not make the fire? Why not? In fact, this is a bit. Let's be honest. In a racing game, you're always wanting to go fast. So why didn't somebody implement an auto accelerate, and then you just either you pull back, or in fact you press the up and down for gears and fire button for brake, but you automatically accelerate.
There was one game that did that.
Control, surely.
On Formula One Simulator from Mastertronic. On the 64 version, it did that, automatically accelerated. So there you go. So there is one that actually.
That was a pile of shit, wasn't it?
Exactly, yeah. Unfortunately, the game itself is utter shite, but there you go. At least it has the feature you want.
And it did have, I think it had quite good music, didn't it? Rob Hubbard.
Yeah, it's Rob Hubbard tune. Yeah, it was a great tune. That's about the only thing that was good about it, though.
Yeah. Evening, mystical ninja, about 31 people in. Good evening, one and all. How are we doing for time? We'll probably go for no later than 9:30, I think.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that works.
Next year, go and stop pausing, Chris, because sometimes when you don't move for a second, I think, have we lost you?
Well, actually, I'm glad you said that, because I've been thinking that sometimes when you're sitting there like a fucking statue, and I'm thinking, am I still connected to this thing or what?
I just want to mention, talking about the Spectrum Next, I don't know if you watched, I did an unboxing videos. Now, I don't normally do unboxing videos.
Yeah, unboxing videos don't grab me. I watched a video where it shows the thing running. I saw that one that you did of that. But yeah, the unboxing one, I thought, yeah, I'll let other people catch that.
I think because of what it was and the fact it's been taking so long, I had genuinely not opened it, so I wanted just to open it on camera, and hopefully the video kind of got over how impressed I was with it. Do you know that video was up to, I think it's 14,000 views?
I know, I remember seeing it, and it was like, I think it had been up for about 3 hours or something. It had over 700. I said, what the fuck?
It's got 13, and do you know how many subs I've picked up in the last week? About 170 subs.
I think the only way I would ever be able to pick up that many subs is if I did some video where I don't know, basically announced that that's it, I'm finished with YouTube or something.
Oh man, just what I mean. As I said, I always, you don't do these kind of videos you don't do these kind of channels to get numbers, because listening to two grouchy old men talking about 30, 40-year-old video games is never going to be mass market.
No.
And I put that video out and I called it Main Meister Looks At, because any bit of hardware that I look at, I always call it Main Meister Looks At ... Dreamcast ... But I was like, fucking hell, it's just absolutely phenomenal, and it just goes to show. I've picked up more subscribers in the last week than it took me about 2 years to get. And it's just incredible. It's fucking absolutely mental just how you can put out one particular video that just goes. And I suppose am I right in thinking as well that the more views technically it gets, I think I've got something like 50 down thumbs. All that all helps to kind of push it forward as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it. The actual number of votes up and down is irrelevant. It's the number of views you get. That's one of the reasons why I don't give a toss about getting down votes or anything, because I've still got another view there. So and that means if you're doing a search, it moves your video higher up the search results. So I'll take that. And I'm I'm not one of those who's fussed about, number of subscribers and number of votes and number of views and any of that guff. I know you're not either. But it just seems weird that you got two of us here who don't care about that sort of thing. And then you compare it to some where they are trying every trick in the book to try and get more people viewing their videos, and no one wants to know. They got videos that are 4 years old and they've had 8 views or something. Yeah.
My pet hate is ones who instantly, as soon as the video starts, it comes up. Please hit that subscribe button and bell.
Yeah. One thing you will never hear in any of my videos, I've never said it, is please like and subscribe and all this shit. Because to me, when people say that, what they're saying is, I think all of you people watching this are fucking morons. Because there are unborn fetuses that know if you like a video, you can click on like. And they know that if you like the channel, you can subscribe to it. They don't need to be reminded at the end of every fucking video you do. Jesus Christ. So yeah, that winds me up knowing.
What's interesting, obviously, given that it's my most popular video. In fact, I'll tell a lie, my most popular video was my dad was on 15 to 1. Do you remember that programme?
Yeah, I applied to appear on that twice and never gone.
He actually won it. He won it, and then he got invited back. And of course, I used to wind him up. I mean, my dad's passed away now, but I used to wind him up that, I mean, he was a very, very clever guy. He had a really vast general knowledge. And he went on the programme, the only programme where you get fuck all for winning it.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yes, you got this little trophy or something. Yeah, that was it. No prize money.
That's my most watched video, and then I think this one now. I think there was a demo that I put up. But yeah, this unboxing, and the ironic thing is, I think it's about 10 minutes long, and it's just absolutely mental. But of course, with the number of views it's got, there's a lot more. I think it's like 50 thumbs down, which is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
A couple of interesting comments. One guy today said pointless. That was his comment. Pointless.
Okay. That sounds sounds about as insightful as a lot of the YouTube comments, though.
See, possibly he was wanting some, I don't know, pornography video, and he thought, if I click on this, main Meister looked at the ZX Spectrum next, maybe that I'm going to see a pair of boobs.
Yeah, that's it. That's what he's waiting for.
It's like it wasn't what I thought it was, so he called it pointless.
See, technically, if he clicked on this live stream, he'd be okay because he's got a pair of tits right in front of him now. So there you go. And
then another guy said, "What was it? He said, worthless video. Why feature something that Joe Public can't buy?
Why feature something that Joe Public can buy?
Can't buy.
Oh, can't. Well,
yeah.
I thought they could though.
Well, that's what I thought. I'm Joe Public. I bought it.
Yeah. Okay. So you got a real intelligentsia there, didn't you? Eh?
I just said to him, I says, so does that mean if somebody people should not put videos out about rare gemstones or the Mona Lisa or bloody something from the Titanic? Because
there you go.
Wants to watch any. So in other words, the only content you can put on YouTube is where you can buy it.
Okay, right. So
yeah,
you got a smart one there. Yeah.
Anyway, I've maybe arrived now that I've got some dickheads like that. But Ian's asking, is anyone tonight getting battered on the coast? It's awful here. Where are you about, Ian? I don't actually know where you hail from.
Yeah, we're getting plenty of the winds around here. So
it's shit outside. I mean, it's pissing the rain. It's actually not as cold as it has been, but it's still shit. It's still bloody awful. I'm just thinking what we need to do. Is there any questions? If anyone's got any questions to ask, then please put them below. Ian,
that's assuming we actually get around to reading them.
Yeah, I know, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump across to last week's Waffle and see. I think was it 2 weeks ago that I didn't answer any questions, so just bear with me. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this. So what games are you playing at the moment then, Chris? Is it still Elite?
Yeah, I was still playing Elite Dangerous. I was also I had a quick go on the Lego Star Wars. I've been playing that again a bit. I do like the Lego games. I don't know what it is about them. They've got the humour in there, absolutely spot on. But the older ones are the better ones, where there's no actual dialogue taken from the film. They're all just like all the time. Those ones are much better. The newer ones, they've taken the dialogue straight from like the film or television program or whatever that they're based on. It doesn't work quite so well.
Yeah,
But yeah, those two I've been playing a bit. But yeah, as far as like retro games, actually, I'll tell you, a couple of days ago I was playing Master of the Lamps. For some reason I thought I'd dig that one out. I'll tell you, that is a fucking decent game, that.
That's a weird game, though, isn't it?
It's weird, but I just think there's something about it. It just keeps me coming back to it.
Aye, it's actually quite impressive. Eh? You've got this kind of, is it kind of like a Simon Says gongs thing you've got to hit, and then you've got this weird kind of trippy where you're on a magic carpet flying through.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and you got to fly through this like tunnel effect and that. And I think the music in it during those tunnel sections, I think that's great. I mean, all right, it's no Rob Hubbard or Martin Galway or whatever. It's still decent though.
It is. No, it's quite impressive. That was Activision, I think it was, eh?
Yes, it was. Yeah. Because I think it was their next release after Ghostbusters.
Ah, right, okay. Who programmed it? Do we know?
Oh, I have no idea. No.
Yeah. So you're going to see Sonic the Hedgehog in the cinema?
Oh, fucking hell, yeah. I mean, I was queuing up outside it when when that one was announced. Because I mean, films based on computer games and video games, they've always been great, haven't they?
Has there actually been a good film based on a computer game?
Short answer, no. They are all absolute shite, and I'm sure people are going to say stuff like, what is it? Was it Resident Evil? No, it wasn't good. It was absolute bollocks.
I think the acting in the game was actually better than the film, which says
that does say all.
Yeah. Have you played the Resident Evil 2, the sort of remake, or is that?
No, I played the original one on PlayStation 1 fucking way back. And it was okay to begin with, but it got boring very quickly, and I just... No. It never grabbed my interest. So, yeah, like 5 minutes of it, and I've never played any of the others at all.
You've never played Resident Evil 4 yet? Seriously, I mean, I don't play modern games, but I think I've played through it probably about 6 times. It's a bloody brilliant game. That is awesome.
Okay.
You'll probably be able to pick it up on Steam for pennies.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting actually that you've got Steam. I mean, I've got plenty of games on Steam already. I mean, how many games have I got on here? Let's just have a check.
It's like 300 or something, is it? I know it's.
No, it's more than that.
What the hell?
I'm just waiting for the pro. Here we go. Right, 455. Out of that, I've probably played less than a quarter of that. So I've over 300 games I have never even looked at.
Aye. Do you get the what's it called again? Not the what's the name of that thing where you get a humble bumble or something?
Yeah, humble bundle. Yeah, I used to get that quite often. Nowadays, I'm a bit more fussy about whether I will get it or not.
Yeah, of course. Aye. So do you kind of install lots of games at once, or do you generally just install the games that you're playing? And
I've got them all installed. I mean, I've got the hard drive space. I mean, my games are on a 5 terabyte hard drive, so yeah, I'm not going to run out of space anytime soon. But
yeah,
yeah, whether I'll actually ever play them, I'm sure there are going to be some there. In fact, there'll be plenty there that I will never play at all.
but it's always nice to know you've got it there, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, the option's always there, and then I ignore it and go back to playing, something like Master of the Lamps again,
Right, sorry, I'm struggling big time trying to find my bloody last waffle. Just
Yeah, I'm just seeing Closed Channel here trying to convince us Rampage was an okay film. Thankfully, he's laughing at the end of that, so yeah, we'll let him off.
That's with the Rock. He's become the. I was going to say like that old Schwat. Is there did they actually make films where he's not in anymore?
What with The Rock? I wish they would. I mean, he does for acting what Steven Seagal did for acting. He's that bad.
Or what Steven Seagal did for bloody Kung Fu. Apparently, he was some sort of self-proclaimed ninja. I think he was, wasn't he?
He's a self-proclaimed lot of things. I can tell you that.
And was he not one of North Korean pals, or is it Putin that he was friendly with?
I mean, anyone who can actually stomach Steven Seagal for more than 2 minutes deserves some kind of respect. So, maybe the North Koreans, they obviously must be even more mad than we thought.
Right, hang on a second. I'm just trying to find my last Waffle. Right, Friday Waffle Live. It wasn't there. Right, here's a Friday Waffle Live. I can't even remember. Right, so last week, let me think. Last week I did a Friday Waffle Live, so I wouldn't have answered any questions then. So let's see, that was the 14th. So the 7th, let me jump into my Friday Waffle from the 7th of February and see if there's any questions. Right, here we go. We've got a few. Is there any questions in the comments, Chris?
Right, there's one here. Ian Hunter. Will Alan or Chris be showing interest in the PS5? I can answer that first. No. I don't know about you, though.
Technically, I should probably say no, because I don't really play games much now. I really don't play many games at all. So I would be mad to buy a PS5, but I've got a daughter who's through the wall, who does play it, and even if she didn't exist, I would probably still buy it. So to answer your question, Ian, yeah, I probably will buy it. Chances are it'll probably sit and not get played, but I probably will. But the thing is, what do you think, Chris? Is it going to be? Do you think we've now reached the stage where it's going to be all, streaming games? Do you actually think that is there going to be something where we can stream games rather than download them? Is that, in fact, that is already a thing.
Well, it already exists. Yeah, I think it was Amazon started one, and I think it started with about 50 titles, none of which were memorable at all. And no, I think it's an awful idea, because you've got to have a properly decent internet connection, which is fast enough to stream a game through and be reliable enough, which certainly rules me out. So yeah, I don't like the idea of streaming games at all. I do think with the PS5, it's going to be almost non-stop sequels. It's going to be, it's all first-person shooters, and maybe even a few third-person shooters and what have you. I just can't see it being anything else. And I've said it a few times before. The last console that I was genuinely interested in was the Atari VCS, and that's still the case now. That's the only console I've ever had. It's the only one I've ever liked. Consoles to me have always been a bit of a step backwards. Why would you get a system that is designed to play games and do little else. I mean, okay, I know nowadays they do more than that. But why would you get one of that now when you've got a PC where you can game and do fuck knows what else on it as well? So I just don't get the appeal of consoles these days.
I mean, I've got computers and I've got loads of consoles. I think for me, where I kind of came off the PC bandwagon was when I mean, what did I have? I had a C64, then I had an Atari ST, then I had an Amiga, then I got my PC. And it's when I upgraded my graphics card. I can't even remember what the hell it was. I paid something like 250 quid for what was a state of the art graphics card. And then I reckon less than 6 months, it was I went to run a game and I put it on to maximum. And it was running like at 5 frames a second. I had to basically turn everything down. And I thought, fucking hell, I've just spent all this money on a graphics card and I'm having to bloody run it on the lowest settings. And at that point, I just thought, I don't want to try and keep up with the PC. It just kind of feels that I was constantly forking out. And I got what did I get? I had a PlayStation before that, but I got the Xbox 360, and I've just, ever since then, I do enjoy consoles because the great thing about a console is, it might not look as cutting edge as a PC, but when you put the disc in that you're not going to have to fanny about with settings.
It's just going to work straight off the bat. There is that. There's something I've just seen here on Ye Olde Gamer Steve wrote. I have no interest in streaming. Screw that crap. If I can't own my game, sod off. That is something I totally agree with. When you've paid, however much it is for the game, you should own it. But of course, with streaming, you don't. That said, nowadays, of course, I mean, it's been like this for a few years now. You buy games on like Steam or Epic Store or Uplay or Origin, whatever. You don't own the game then either. It's got it in the end user license agreement. You've paid for the right to be able to play it, but you don't own it, and I hate that. There is no excuse for that at all. But it's because so many games now are live services rather than actual gaming. So you've always got to be connected to their server. So of course, the moment they decide, right, this game's had it, we'll turn the server off. Bang, you can't play the game again at all. It's all gone that sort of way. I really don't like the way they've done that, and that's not going to change. That's going to stay, all the way through.
I think like the current generation, like my daughter's generation, that probably doesn't bother her at all. I think maybe because we've come from we were like the original guys. I mean, we were very lucky that we were here when the whole industry first kicked off, and and so we've always been used to handing money over and getting a game, and that's your game to keep. And so it's still kind of. I find it hard to. I mean, my daughter she'll have money for a Switch game, and rather than hang on for a couple of days and get it on Amazon and get it on SD card, she'll download it. And as I've tried to say, if something was to happen to my broadband, because at the end of the day, the whole streaming game thing, it relies on reliable broadband, and even though we're on, I don't even know what bloody broadband I'm on. My router's in the hall, and my Amazon Fire Stick for my Netflix is in the living room, which is like 10 feet away, and it's still bloody buffers. So
that's it.
Super fast bloody internet. The internet that we have in this world at the moment is still not reliable enough.
No, that's it. If it can't even stream a film, then what fucking hope has it got of streaming an entire game? I just don't think it can be done. So that's my biggest thing that I have against streaming. Well, that and not actually owning the game you've paid for. I just can't get on with it.
I mean, there was a game. What the hell was it? There was a game that came out, and was it one of Tony Hawk's or something? I think it was.
Oh, fucking hell! Okay.
Anyway, apparently it wasn't it was basically a setup program that was on the disc. There was no. Apparently, it had like maybe one meg, or not 1 meg.
Now you mention that, that does sound familiar.
The entire game.
Yeah. There was something else similar to that. Well, I think you could go into somewhere like you say, like Game or HMV or whatever, buy the game. I think it was a PS4 game, or it might be Xbox One or whatever. Maybe if someone's watching this, they'll know what it is. You went out there, you bought the game, you got the DVD case for it, and you opened it up, and all that was in there was a cardboard disc with this code on there, which you entered and then had to download it. So there was no point at all in buying this so-called physical copy. Just download the thing online.
Jesus, what game was that? I think I remember that, actually.
Yeah, I can't remember which one. I know it was a game that was a commercial disaster. It was like really badly programmed. Well, most of them are nowadays. And yeah, it was not popular at all. But I can't for the life of me remember.
Well, Steve's saying there some Switch games have just a download code in the box.
Yeah, so and that's what this was doing. Obviously it's not just one game that does it. Then it's a whole bloody slew of
them. Ian's asking a question for Lukozer. Doesn't constant upgrading and pissing around to get the best performance out of your PC put you off a bit?
Well, when I put a computer together, I always give it like pretty high specifications all the time, so that I don't need to do that for however many years. I mean, the computer I got now, despite the problems I'm having with it, most of the internal components are 9 years old. The only reason the graphics card isn't is because that failed. I mean, it's still here. There you go. The old Zotac GTX 780. It's in the box there. The fans all failed on it. If they hadn't done that, I'd still be using that. So yeah, when I put a computer together, I always go for like quite high spec, so that then I know I don't have to look at the specifications needed to run a game. I can just buy it and it will work straight off, and it will do that for quite a few years. So that's my thinking behind it. And although I don't like, obviously I'm getting pissed off about what's happening with my computer now, it's lasted 9 years, which in PC terms is fucking prehistoric. So it's lasted a decent amount of time.
Yeah, I suppose the other big thing about PCs is you're getting software for pennies now, aren't you?
Well, it does rather depend on the software. I mean, a lot of the time, if I need something like, say, a video editor, I'll look for, an open source version of it first, so I can get it for free. I'm not paying, hundreds for an Adobe product, so there's always a cheaper alternative. And a lot of the time, especially when it comes to PC software, the cheaper alternative is just as good as the, 200, 300 quid bloody job.
I suppose when you look at it like that, yeah. One thing that I do like about PCs now is that generally, the software is pretty reliable. I mean, I can't remember the last time. I'm obviously going to think about me saying that, but I can't remember the last time a PC actually crashed. Whereas you remember back in the old days when it was Windows 95.
Yes.
you would have it all running just perfect. You had everything. I kind of had a list of things. I had to format my computer, put Windows 95 on. I'd have to install the modem driver. I'd have to get my AOL disk out.
Yeah.
The driver or the sound driver, all that. Your go-to games, and then you'd be playing it, and then boom, blue screen of death.
Yeah, that's it.
And it always happened about midnight, and I was one of these buggers. I could not say, right, you know what, I'm going to go to bed and I'll do it in the morning. No, fuck that. I had to
sort it out right there and then. That's exactly what I'm like.
Until 5 o'clock in the morning. And
yeah.
I would literally be like that, kind of sleeping, waiting, looking at the thing, and I could see it. I could see it installing, and then you would get it, and you think, great, right, that's fine. Blue screen of death.
Yes. I remember those days all too well.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I had no end of problems with Windows 95. I found Windows 98 to be even worse.
Did you? No, maybe you're right. I don't think I was on 95 for too long. I think you're right. Then there was like special edition as well, eh?
Yeah, the Windows 98 second edition, which apparently sorted a lot of the original issues out, and of course I didn't have that one. But Windows Millennium Edition, which just about everybody says was the worst version of Windows that ever got released. I never had a single issue with that at all. Always worked absolutely fine.
That Windows Millennium, aye, bloody hell. I think the worst version had to be Vista. Jesus.
See, now I don't get why there was all this hate for Vista. I had no problem with it. It worked fine for me. I didn't have any software issues. It was a bit of a resource hog, admittedly, but I never thought, I didn't think it was too good. Sir Lancelot, I bought Windows ME. I didn't buy my one.
So when did that come out? Did that come out after? XP. Sorry, right? Yeah, it was Windows 95, 98, 98. What was it called again?
Yeah, it was 98. The Millennium and 2000 came out at the same time, and then then it just went straight to NTFS versions, didn't it? So then from XP onwards, it was all Windows NT based.
I used to sometimes run Windows 2000, which was more designed for like businesses, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, I thought 2000 was pretty good. I mean, I had it in a gaming PC and it worked just fine as a gaming system as well. So yeah, I thought that was all right. In fact, I would probably go so far as to say I think Windows 2000 was the best version of Windows I've ever used.
So I would have probably said XP. I loved the XP. It was fast.
The thing I didn't like about XP was the whole colour scheme and everything looked like it had been designed by a 5-year-old. All these bright, fucking bold blue bars at the bottom, this big bright green button there. It looked fucking hideous. But if you could look past that, yes, it was a decent operating system.
Yeah, it was always the best for me. Sir Lance is just saying, Adam saying, recognise USB sticks. I mean, that's. For somebody now, to think there was actually a point in time where, software didn't recognise USB sticks, and now you install Windows, whatever the hell it is, Windows 10, I think. I mean, I bought Windows 8 for 14 quid, and then I came down one day and it automatically updated it to Windows 10 without asking me. But everything just works. You know what I mean? It is literally plug and play.
To a degree. I mean, I've got Windows 10 now, obviously, and I do have a few issues with it. I hate the way that whenever it updates to the latest build, you then have to all start redoing all of the program associations and everything else again. It's not again. Why can't it just store those? Actually remember those. It's not difficult, surely, but no.
The thing is, what comes with a better operating system, or technically better operating system, is it's gone from, I think the Windows 95 is 50 meg or something now.
Yeah, it's a really small installation. Sorry?
Is it not about 60 gig or something? I don't know what my install is. I don't know what size it is.
Let's have a look. Because on my C drive, I do have a few programs installed on C, but it is mostly just Windows. So I have 368 gig free of 475 gig. So it's using over 100 gig.
And that's just for Windows, is it?
It is pretty much just for Windows. So there's a few programs on there, but not that many.
Windows XP could do what we're doing just now. So where's all that extra space going? I don't know.
Well, shit like Cortana for one thing. I mean, is there anyone watching this who has Windows 10? Do any of you actually use Cortana? I don't believe anybody does. first thing I did is disable it, and now, of course, you can't. So,
And of course, I think, am I right in thinking that the latest operating system's done away with MS Paint, which is one of my most used applications. I use it all the time.
yeah, I think it's replaced it with something else, but don't ask me what. I'm fairly sure MS Paint has gone, but yeah, there's something else in there as well now. So, yeah, don't ask me what it is.
What was it Windows 8 that had that horrible tablet mode?
Yeah, when you first started it up. The thing about it is, because I remember loads of people were complaining about it, and yeah, okay, it looked like shit. But you know, one mouse click and you're back onto the desktop. And then there was all this massive loads of complaints saying, oh, the start button's gone. Well, no, it hasn't. If you moved your mouse into the bottom left corner, it appeared. So it was still there. All these people moaning about it, there was nothing wrong with the fucking thing. Windows 8 looked horrible, there's no doubt about it. Visually, it was the worst. But actually, as an operating system, I thought it was all right. I don't think it deserved the sort of bashing it got.
It's funny how I heard an interview with what's his name, Bill Gates, and they were saying, have you had any regrets? And he said that we didn't get into the mobile market early enough. You know,
well, yeah. I mean, I am one of the few. You may recognise my screen there, but yeah, I am one of the few people who actually uses a Windows phone. Of course, now there's like fuck all in the way of apps that work on it, but you know, that's what I've got.
So when's the next version of Windows coming out? Do we know, or is it going to?
Apparently, Windows 10 is the last one. They're just going to keep updating it like Apple does with the iOS thing. So that's supposed to be what you know is happening. Although you never know with Microsoft, they may end up changing their minds and then saying, "Oh no, right here we go, Windows 11. This is the one I have," and all this usual guff. I know there's a new one coming out, Windows 10X, which is going to be for all those like tablets and laptops with the folding screen. Which I think is one of the most pointless technological advances, shall we say, in quotes, that there's been. Why do you need a folding screen? But, so there's Windows 10X is coming out for that, but...
is that going to be like full price or what? I mean, I only paid...
I have no idea.
Does anybody actually own an original copy of Windows? I do actually. I mean, my Windows, like I said, I paid, I think it was $14.99 for my Windows.
For Windows 10. I mean, I got it for nothing when they were doing that free upgrade thing. So I've got my Windows 8 installation disk somewhere. Hang on. Yeah, there we go. Windows 8 Pro. Yeah, and then that got the free upgrade to Windows 10, and that's so I have the installation for Windows 8, but I never use it. But I don't need to, because the key on my Windows 8 is also the key for my Windows 10, so I just keep putting Windows 10 on it.
Right, okay, yeah. Evening, Mr. Panther UK. He's the chap, Chris, that recommended this StreamYard. So I think it seems to be working pretty well.
It's working a damn sight better than that Facebook chat that we used for the all the previous collaborations.
That was a palaver and a half, because I had to use the broadcast thing, and I had to kind of size your window and size my window, but this just seems to work.
Yeah, I think this will make any future ones we do a lot easier.
Well, indeed. What would be nice if there's some... I'm just looking at the bottom here. There's different options. I don't know what that... I better not click. But yeah, what would be nice is if there were somehow that we could include a game and everybody could see as well. Maybe I'll need to experiment.
Well, I think there might be. There's the share screen option here. Hang on. Screen sharing is easiest with two monitors, which I don't have. Screen sharing works best on a good computer. Well, fucking hell, that's useful to know.
Didn't know that. What the hell?
Okay, well, I'll click on share screen and see what it says. Oh, fucking hell. Right. Oh, you know what? Right, cancel it, yeah. That didn't work.
It's piss easy for a change. We didn't actually have to fanny about like we usually do.
Well, yeah, there is that, yeah.
Apart from your computer going off, obviously. But
Well, I'm amazed it hasn't done it yet.
Evening, Brian. Mr. Brian C. Brian was my second subscriber.
Bloody hell, that must be going back a fair bit.
I've also done something like he still hangs about. Yeah. Who was your first subscriber, do you know?
Oh, fucking hell. It was probably Gans Teeth because it was him who got me started in doing the whole retro reviews. Actually, no, tell a lie, because I'd already started doing Elite Dangerous reviews or videos before I started doing my retro reviews. But he was the one anyway who really started me doing the whole YouTube thing, so I wouldn't be at all surprised if he was the first.
I don't even know who the first one was, but I know Brian was, and it's Brian you can thank for us being here tonight, or for me still being here tonight, because I've mentioned that a lot of times. I think it was about a month in. The thing that got me making videos was I kind of hit a brick wall with my I had no interest in playing video games, and I thought to myself, oh, and then somebody had introduced me to the YouTube channels, and I thought why don't I record a video of me playing a shit game? So I started doing that, and I was doing one every night called a Main Meister 10-minute mashup, and I think I did it for about a couple of months. And then I was looking at the views, and like the last one I'd done like a week before, it had like 5 views. And I just thought, I think it was 3 views, and I thought, what am I doing? What am I actually doing? I mean, seriously, why am I filming myself when nobody's watching it? So I put out a video saying, like, I've decided I'm going to close the channel. And then Brian chirped in, he said how he really enjoyed my videos. The funny thing was, I remember rightly, Brian, you can correct me on this. Brian, there was something on a radio channel, it was something mashup, and he typed in whatever it was, mashup, and my video popped up. And he thought, oh, right. And he started watching it. So because he enjoyed my videos, I thought, that made me feel great, and I thought, fuck it, I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, so then you keep on doing it, yeah, that's it.
So interesting stuff. Listen, I'm just conscious of the time, so I think what we'll need to do, unless there's any questions in the comments, which I don't see at the moment, we'll just answer a few questions from the Waffle from, when would that be? The 7th of February. So it was Panther UK. Let's have a look. For next time, if it was made in the same vein as the 64 and next, would you go for a reborn Amiga? What do you think yourself, Chris? Would you, if they were bringing out a reborn Amiga, have you got an original Amiga?
I did have. I had a Amiga 600. I was never a big fan of 600, but I flogged it.
Yeah. Oh, probably me. Yeah. Would you buy an Amiga, a recreated Amiga?
No. Yeah, short answer to that. No, I'd stick with emulation. I just find it so much easier to just do emulation. So I wouldn't buy any of these reproduction computers, regardless of which one it is.
I think if you don't have any, then I totally get the. I mean, for years and years and years and years, it was all the emulators that I used, and then it was only because. I can't remember who it was. It was a forum that I used to be on. This one guy, he had something like 50 machines, and he said, look, I've decided I'm moving house. I don't have any room for them. I want to give them away rather than sell them. I want to give them away. And I put my hand up, and I think, what did I get? I got a VIC 20, a BBC, and something else. I can't remember what the hell it was. And that opened my eyes to the fact that I could still own old hardware, because like most people, I think a big part of my my games kind of collection is the fact that I can afford to buy things that back in the day I never ever got.
Yeah, just that. Actually, I tell you, there is one computer, if I could own it, I would jump at the chance, but I'd want an original one, not like one of the new repro ones. And that's a Commodore 128. If I could get hold of one of those, I would, definitely want one. But
they go for penny.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going for stupid money. So the chances of me having one are slim to none.
What's the reason for wanting a 128?
It's, well, for me, simply, it was the best 8-bit computer that ever came out. Well, I know it was stupidly expensive and it came out far too late. So, it was a bit of a commercial flop. But I just think it's such a decent computer. And if it had the time, if it had been released to the market earlier and had the time to be developed, I reckon it could have done some pretty impressive stuff. So, I'd like to sort of get hold of one and see what I can do with the thing, but chances of me doing so are low.
Yeah, it just came along too late. I mean, I think the 128 came out, and then shortly after, I think the Atari ST appeared, and that just kind of blew it out the water. I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the 16-bit computers came along, and the 128 was, just totally pointless at that time, especially as it cost about the same as an ST or an Amiga at that time as well. So the price was just.
My mate Andy had one, but I don't recall him ever playing anything else other than just C64 games.
Yeah, I knew someone who had one, and every time he switched it on, the first thing he did was type Go 64. So he never actually did anything with it, as a 128.
So I'm just laughing at Ian saying here, if Lukozer gets a swear box, you can afford to buy one by Easter.
Okay, there we go. I think if I had a swear box set up, never mind Easter, it'd probably be next week.
To answer your question, Chris, would I buy a recreated Amiga? I don't know. I probably would. I mean, I say that all the time. I'm not going to buy something and I see it. The reason I do like the recreated, I do like original hardware, I have to say. I do enjoy, it's just, I know it's the same games on the PC, but there's something about sitting on a CRT with the original hardware with the old style joystick that just feels more authentic than using a SNES pad on the PC. But I think the fact that I've just got the Spectrum Next, which chances are I'm just going to use it to play Spectrum games on, and the same with the 64, which is the recreated one, but it's large.
So the 64, yeah.
They can't use the word Commodore, obviously. I mean, both are wonderful machines, and if you wanted to play the original hardware and not have to fanny about with SCART cables and how to load tapes and all that, then get yourself one of them. It's basically, I look upon it as future proofing my original hardware fetish for the future, because I'm a complete numpty. I mean, my CD32 stopped working, and my mate's like, "Oh, you just need to recap it," and I'm like, "You do know that's like complete Chinese."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah,
I understand the concept, but there's not a cat's hell chance that I'm going to be able to recap anything. So, I'm not under any false illusion that my C64 and Spectrum and that are going to last forever, because they're not. These machines were designed 30 years ago. They should not be working.
Yeah, so it's not miraculous that they're working now, So,
and the fact that thing there is even working, and that's what 1982 it came out as.
Oh, the old Vectrex,
yeah. Insane, absolutely insane. So would I buy one? Do I want a recreated Amiga? Probably not. Would I buy one? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I see the Panther UK comment here. You would, and you would. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, you would, and you would.
Next question is, you oldie gamer Steve, you have to sell one of your prized possessions. This is obviously more geared for myself. Will it be the Vectrex or the ZX Spectrum Next? That's an easy one. I would sell the ZX Spectrum Next.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
of those two options, it's a
yeah,
no-brainer.
you know the reason why is as much as I love the Spectrum Next, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a brand new computer. You know, it's a standalone computer, and I love it. The fact is, I'm probably just going to use it 99% to play Spectrum games, which I can play on my PSP, I can play it on my Just Spec, I can play it on my PC, I can play it on a plethora of systems. I can, and nothing comes close to running a Vectrex other than on the Vectrex. It's a unique system.
Yeah, yeah. I'll
So
go along with that. Yes,
that's
that is some original hardware that I would be quite keen to get. But
a
again,
Vectrex.
yeah, again, silly money they're going for.
Yeah, they do go for daft money. I mean, did you see there was a Spectrum Next went for 550 quid on eBay?
Okay, right. I didn't see that. 550.
550 quid it went for on eBay.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, but it's like anything. I mean, I've got a mate. He actually he's got. I think he's got the biggest collection of C64 software out of anybody. I think he's got a complete cartridge. He's got a complete collection of cartridges for the C64. He told me that he bidded for not a Vectrex. It was a Vic 20 game, and he bidded it something like £1,500 for this, and he didn't even get it.
So over 1,500.
£1,500 for a Vic 20 game.
Oh, fucking hell.
I wonder if Mr. Hunter, did you buy that game per chance? I know you're a bit of a Vic 20 man. One thing I do like about the 64 is it's got it's mayhem. It's got a Vic 20 mode, so you can basically run Vic 20 games in it, which is really nice because I've got a Vic 20, but I don't have any way to load games. I actually thought I could plug in my Ultimate 2 cartridge, which is a fantastic bit of hardware for the C64, but I didn't realise that the cartridge ports are actually different.
Oh yeah, different size I think.
Yeah. Different. So really, really nice to have that. Sorry, Closed Channel was asking what was the Vic 20 game. I don't know. I do remember it was utter pish. But then that tends to be the way. The software that is worth a lot of money is generally games that nobody ever bought. Tends to be the way of it.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Right, Vinny the Macum. I think Vinny's in tonight. Alan, a question for next week. Your face-off loading screen sounds like sorry, I'll start again. Your face-off 8-bit face-off kerfuffle loading screen sounds like it is indeed a Spectrum loading screen, but it also sounds cut down and doesn't seem to match the actual lines being loaded. Might sound really geeky, but as a 10-year-old watching games load was fascinating, and you got to know how a loading screen sounded as it was loading. The question is, what's the screen that the sound actually comes from? Well, you're kind of half right, Vinny. One of my mates drew the face-off kerfuffle picture for me. He drew it in kind of Spectrum kind of colours. And my mate Steve Snake, who's he's an awesome C64 programmer. Well, he wrote NBA Jam for the SNES. He wrote Rodland for the C64. He's just an absolute ninja programmer. I asked Steve, I says, look, Steve, to make it really authentic, would you be able to put this picture into a loading screen? So he basically came up with a file that loaded it. But the only problem is when I loaded it and recorded it, the intro was going to be like a minute long.
Yeah, they weren't quick loading those screens.
Well, most people are going to have switched off by then. So what I did was I just basically sped the video up, and I just reduced the kind of sound. So technically, the video is the loading screen loading. It didn't do anything else. It just loaded the loading screen, and that was it. It was a tap file that he gave me, but I kind of squashed it down a wee bit. So it is from the loading screen. But yeah, I'm particularly impressed that you actually sussed that out. Yeah, right. I think that is all the questions from 2 weeks ago. I think it is. Yep. So listen, I think we're going to. It's 9:45. How long have we been on for? Yeah, as always, we
I
overrun.
know, yeah.
We do indeed. So listen, any more questions? Any more?
Well, I mean, there are a slew of questions that we've missed in these comments.
We probably have. Anyway, my cider's almost finished, so I think we'll call it a night. So
All right.
thank you very much to everybody that's joined us tonight. It's always an absolute hoot doing these things. Thank you to you yourself, Chris, for joining me.
No worries. It was an experience.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Your PC managed to hold together as well, which is
Yeah, now that is an experience. Yeah.
So yeah, if you enjoy listening to Chris and I talk shite, then we will be back probably next week. Well, it's probably going to be the week after by the time I get the videos edited, etc. It's going to be one of our. I don't even know what it is, what we're going to be doing. There'll be a follow up to the 10 worst games ever. Or it'll be done in our usual inimitable style, I think.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Yes.
The two grumpiest bastards on YouTube, apart from Cole's channel, who proclaims to be the grumpiest bastard.
Okay. Well, I'm not being relegated to third grumpiest. No way. No.
I'll settle for bronze medal. I don't mind. Anyway, guys, listen. Thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And until the next time, thank you very much for watching. Take it easy. Bye.